Well, it's early in the year. We're in central Minnesota, kind of near St. Cloud. And I tell you what, Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. We joke that there's a lot more than that, but I would guess that most of them have crappies. What I love about these basin fish is if you want to, you can fish really aggressively and you can get after it. You can sit in one spot if you want to, and there's a time and place for that, but if you're willing to put in the work and drill the holes, you can break down and cover so much water so quickly, and it's just so deadly. It's so effective where you're going to find these fish suspended, and a lot of times when you find them, you can catch them.
There, that's a little better fish right there. I've been catching a lot of fish. You're catching some smaller ones. It just seems like you got to catch as many fish as you can to catch these bigger ones because they're all mixed in. I mean, we're catching bluegills, 5-inch crappies, 11-inch crappies. They're just all seem to be mixed together. All right, on to the next one. Boy, it's pretty crazy. What have we been here 5 minutes, popped a couple of holes, and right away we started catching fish. Just loaded down there right now.
Yeah, they are stacked right now.
There we go.
Got him.
Got him that time. Just a perfect eater if a person was keeping fish today. We catch a lot of these 10, 11-inch fish around here, but we do have some nice fish around here, even with all the fishing pressure we have. It's pretty amazing that some of these lakes can produce fish year after year with all the fishing pressure we get.
Once we get in an area where we've got these fish, just creeping along, making these little moves, you'll just wear out your welcome where you'll have fish below you and you catch the easy ones, and the fish that are left are just really tough to catch. And you move literally 15 feet away, 10 feet away, and just get back on them again. Not only are these fish moving, but it's like you catch the aggressive fish and you just have to keep picking off the aggressive fish or finding those aggressive fish. And so a lot of times we're just gridding this out, just lots of small moves, drilling out grids and fishing them through. There he is. Love it when crappies dig. Oh yeah, look at there.
There you go, that one's a better one.
That fish just ate that pinhead minnow. Look at that. Hardly see it. There we go. There she goes. And what's crazy is just how much these fish move. And how fast you wear out your welcome. It's like you'll catch a few aggressive fish right away and you'll mark a bunch of fish that just don't want to move. And you just got to keep moving and find new fish. So when you're fishing these basins, a lot of times you're fishing aggressive, you're fishing fast, you're trying to cover that water. A lot of times we're using presentations that drop down fast and get up fast, and a lot of times your fish are going to come in little flurries where you're going to have times where you're not going to be on fish. You're going to have times where you're drilling holes and trying to find fish. Then when you finally get on them and they're biting, you want to be able to get up and down as quick as you can. And so that's why I think the Pinhead Pro has become so popular. Just a heavy spoon, it's got a little flicker blade on it, a lot of action. A lot of these anglers they're catching fish without any bait. They're fishing it naked. But if you're going to fish it without bait, it takes a certain attitude when you fish this lure, in the sense you have to keep it moving, you have to keep it quivering, you have to keep that bottom blade flashing, and you got to pull those fish up from the pack. You got to make them chase, you got to make them eat it. And you have to do that by keeping it moving. You don't want to stop and hold it still. You don't want to get real slow and methodical. You want just really fast, just get that blade to bounce. And it seems like that bottom blade really is the thing that triggers fish on the Pinhead Pro. But definitely a lure to have in your tackle box as far as a search lure when you're trying to find fish and break down this water. Look at that.
There you go.
That's the up bite there. Look at that, caught right in the bottom of the chin. Which I think that's the thing is, it's easy to underestimate crappies as a predator, but look at that mouth. They have no problem gunning something down. I think too, when you look at these suspended fish, presentations like these pinhead minnows, they can see them and feel them from a long ways. I think that's the whole key, is just efficiency. Gets down fast, and these fish can find it.
That's a good school. Right over here, Jason. You know, when we're fishing these basins and chasing these nomadic fish, efficiency is key. I mean, down to from the rod and reel setup to your flasher, to your forward facing, to the way I have my machine set up. And as you can see, I got it mounted on the front of my four-wheeler. And the reason I have it on the four-wheeler is because I can move it around easily. You know, they're extremely heavy. I don't want to carry this around. So I'm going to pinpoint fish. We're going to drill on them, and then I'm running around with my Vexilar to catch these fish. But for finding fish, it's an extremely efficient way to find fish. On top of that, working as a team and working with somebody is huge. If I have fish, you know, 80 feet away, I don't want to have to run over there 80 feet, drill a hole, grab a flasher, check to make sure they're there. You know, this way I can just, you know, point somebody in the direction and, you know, tell them back farther, right, left, and have them pop a hole. They can drop a flasher down, make sure that they're on them. And if not, then I can help walk them in. So we're just going to demonstrate, you know, Scott's going to drill a hole, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the sonar so you can see where he's actually drilling. All right, so if you look on here, you can actually see right where he drilled. So he's just at about 32 feet. You know, what's nice about that is if you're down here and you got a school of fish, great, then you're on top of them. If they're farther away, you can direct them to go another 30 feet farther. I really like to run about 100-foot range on my, you know, my distance. If I get past 100 feet, I just don't think I get that clarity that I do at 100 or closer. You know, if I'm fishing shallower than maybe 15 feet, I might even shorten that up to say 50 or 60 feet, just depending on the depth range. So this is my range for how far I'm looking. Here's my gain, and then here's my depth range. So you can see right now I'm set to 25 feet. We're in 18 feet of water. Like I said, I generally like to be 5 to even 10 feet deeper than the depth I'm in, because if I'm on a drop off, I don't want to have a big blind spot. You know, if you are on a lot of steep drop offs, you can go to auto and it works. I just prefer manual. You know, here's my my forward range. I can shorten it or lengthen it. You know, as I zoom in, I can actually see those fish better. You know, you can see how fast they're moving there. But that actually gives me an idea how big these fish are too, right? Because here I've got a 5-foot range, and I would guess those fish are probably, you know, 10 to 12 inches long, just judging by that. So you can actually use this to sort of judge the size of the fish too, whether it's little minnows or bait or, you know, a 24-inch walleye for that matter. It's extremely efficient, especially when you're working in a team. So, you know, play with your settings, try to get as clear a picture as you can, and then play with your ranges. You know, I like to run manual ranges for my depth and my distance, just because I feel like it doesn't jump around as much. So, you know, I'm always doing it manually. And then once I locate those fish, I'm gonna drill holes on them and fish them with the Vexilar.
So I'll show you here, you know, when you're going from hole to hole and you're just checking for suspended fish, see how I have it in auto here right now, it takes a little while for it to think. See there, oh, look at all the fish there. And so what you can do is manually set your range. So that way, watch this now here, when you drop it in, it's just quick, it's just fast. And so when you're hopping from hole to hole, that's a lot quicker. And the other thing I like to do is just knock that transducer, swing it from side to side. And that'll kind of expand your coverage here, but boy, there's a lot of fish in there. Look at that, that looks beautiful. There is a pile of them. That's all fish, all that right there.
That feels better. Yeah, that feels better. Buddy. That's just a perfect eater. You know, we 10.5 inch fish. It doesn't really get much better as far as eating goes. You know, when you're out here, you definitely get out of this fishing what you put into it. I mean, we are working for these fish. And as soon as I get a fish, I'm trying to get it up as quick as I can and get back down, because these fish are moving extremely fast. And I mean, I'm actually still out of breath from drilling holes earlier, because I'm running back and forth to the forward facing and then back to my flasher and my rod to get on the fish again. So, you know, the harder you work, the more fish you're gonna catch. It's not a sit in one spot and just wait for them to come to you type of deal. You really gotta work hard and stay on top of them.
You know, and we're over by St. Cloud here today, which there's so many lakes like this in Minnesota where, you know, you find these crappie over these basins or bowls, and just classic Minnesota crappie fishing. What I love about this is you're moving, you're active, these fish are moving, so you just got to keep moving with them, and it's not a deal where you necessarily have to just sit out here and wait for fish to swim by. You know, you can fish these pretty aggressively, and you just come out here and catch a bunch of fish. That's what I love about this. You know, and the ice conditions are good. I mean, I think a lot of people were worried about this winter, you know, where we got some ice and then we got quite a bit of snow on top of it, but don't know what the future holds. But right now you're starting to be a lot of permanent fish houses out here. People are driving around out here. Ice conditions are really good. Oh, got him here. There he is. One thing's for sure, when you get about 10 feet of fish below you, they sure are easier to catch. I tell you what, walleyes might be the state fish, but crappies, that's why all those wheelhouses are out here. Such a great fish to target in the wintertime.
There we go. That's a better fish. Just another perfect eater. There's just nothing wrong with catching a whole bunch of those. There we go.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah, that looks like a good one.
Feels a little better. He doesn't want to come up just yet. Oh yeah, that's a big crappie. That's a good fish. This is what we're here for. Look at that.
Oh,
there's
nice
a beast.
work.
Boy, when I set the hook on that one, I could just tell that was better, especially after setting the hook on a couple of smaller ones previously. You know, this kind of just shows that, you know, these bigger fish are kind of mixed in with these smaller ones, because I mean, I just caught a small one just shortly before this, and then here's a, you know, that's probably 14 inches right there, you know, I'd say. But just a beautiful fish. All right, let's see if we can get a couple more of those.